Përshëndetje të gjithëve.
Hi everybody.
Bravo.
Halo Aldo.
Muy buenas a todos.
Namaste.
Welcome.
Isoviwe njego hokine la njego peteti je.
Hello. Oh, hi. So my name is Lauren, for those of you that don't know me already. And I've had the great privilege of working with the Youth Research Board for the last 18 months. I think around 18 months. We're really pleased to be joined by 5 or 6, I can't count, the Youth Research Board today. So I'm not going to do too much talking. What I'd like to do is firstly hand over to each member of the board to introduce themselves and say a little bit about themselves. And then we'll open up to the floor for questions.
We were in different stages. It was the stage of how we can do a research about the research. So we kind of moved to creating interviews with the participants of the research, which were the professors, the participants, the students, etc. And we were taking interviews with them and kind of different interviews like how was their experience and how it was living through this kind of research that was supported by Changing the Story. Because the thing was that in Kosovo was used the participatory research method, which is not a really kind of day-to-day method in Kosovo in comparison with the other methodologies. So it was really interesting to see how the students, for example, were in the schoolhouses. All their parents were into these systems, but they never had these kind of conversations with them. So it led to us to another conversation of how young people can be involved into some stories that other, like mostly adults, think that are not for young people. So we challenged ourselves with a myth that the history and the collective memory is boring for young people. We wanted to change and to shift the story from history and collective memory as boring for young people to something that, in fact, it makes them better citizens for the world.
So we've been working on the theme called the daily lives of young people. We chose 2 projects. I'm going to talk about the one we chose in India. So it's a project called TEM, which is Tribal Education Methodology. And it's a project to help the young people who are not able to attend the schools to get the access to the education. That project TEM helped them to put them back into the schools, but using artistic methods. And this helped those marginalized states to become also the students or the young people to have education like others.
Well, so we actually also researched a project in South Africa, which was focused on this, to connect the older and the younger generations, because we interviewed the young people of this town in South Africa, and they told us that at the beginning they were not interested at all in the history of their town or in the history of their grandparents. But then they started to interview their grandparents and the old people of this town and learned about the identities that they had forgotten, that they didn't know. Then they discovered that arts-based methods are a good way to link different generations that might have different contexts. So they actually made a book of all the traditions that they learned from the old generations. So through the making of this book, they were able to communicate and discover new traditions and habits that they didn't know before.
Comrades must listen to all. Comrades must be open-minded. Comrades must be open for change. Comrades must be active and not passive. Comrades must strive for inclusion. Comrades must applaud with clicks. Comrades must respect time, and comrades must check their privilege.
This house believes that university needs hierarchy to create educated and active citizenship. So, Eric, after the professors will write the topic, you will turn for 5 minutes. You will have 5 minutes to prepare, to select who is the first, second speaker, and then we will start.
And space in the side. So then we're going to put them all together and connect them to create like a collective drawing. So we can
Are we putting them on the board?
yeah. But first you can draw here.
But if you're using Play-Doh.
We can
On
put
this
it on the
table, so you can put your 3D Play-Dohs.
Thank you.
But we need to connect them.
Yeah.
This last one was really emotive, full of heartbreaking stories and full of lovely and loving hearts opening to each other. So I really, really want to say thank you to everybody taking this activity so serious and sharing from the most beautiful piece of memory in their minds and hearts.
But I felt like humble, I felt like you speechless, seeing others free to share, like willing to share. Someone says, this shows my mom, dad, there was different and harsh stories that are painful from their hearts, and it's our first time to meet. And sharing stories goes with trust, goes with and trust is not something that I'm going just to trust somebody directly. So this was very perfect activities, and I appreciate that you all become open to us, and some of us will open to you. So we are open, and I can share you my story, and feel free to me, and feel like I really appreciate you are open. We are all open to everybody. Thank you very much.